Welcome, everybody. Um, Today, I am preparing the first video for this week here. Week starting on August the 1st. That's Module 6 week. Module 6 is a relatively easy module. Module 7 is a bit more elaborate. And Module 7 has something that is unique about it, which is the last module. So the deadline is 1 p.m. on Friday, and then I have to submit grades soon after. So there is no way you can submit this one late. It's either you submit it on time or you don't submit. And as I'm going to talk about in a little bit, not submitting this one on time automatically brings you to a B. So I would strongly recommend that you do this early. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about grades. So for last week, Module 5, as far as I could tell, everybody submitted on time except for one person. Oh, let me comment on something there. So we had one submission here that was a submission, yes, a resubmission. So that's by Ms. Espino. So I think I contacted Ms. Espino because I was a bit concerned about submitting files with the wrong extension. That would suggest that she was not watching these videos, right? Because I was mentioning on the videos. I'm not talking about grades here. I cannot talk about individual students' grades in public, but I asked her to just take a look, and I suggested in previous videos to resubmit it. So if you submit and then you notice that there is something wrong in your submission, or if I point that out on a video, then you can resubmit, which she did. Now that's the correct extension. So that's the project file. So then the submission is complete. And her submission of that file was not late because it was due August 8th by 1 p.m. So this is a correct submission on time. So we only had one late, which is up here. So this is a late submission by Fuentes, Onis Fuentes. And I don't have to say it's late because the deadline was August 8th, 1 p.m. This is August 10th, so it is late. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about grades, my final grades. Oh, by the way, someone, or I had one person or two contacting me about midterm grades. In a 7-week course, my experience is that posting midterm grades only causes confusion because it's such a short, right? 6 weeks is actually half of a full semester course. In a full semester, long semester course, typically we would submit mid-semester grades, but often that's not required. In fact, in our university, it's not required for graduate courses. It's more for undergraduate courses because of the different nature of graduate courses. So that's the reason why I have not submitted midterm grades. I'm just commenting on what people have been submitting, and I've been telling people, look, resubmit if you think there is anything wrong. And in fact, in some cases, I pointed out on the videos that resubmissions were needed. So I'm doing my best here to help everybody achieve an A in this course. But the mid-semester grades, for example, as I just said, what if you'd submitted all on time by the middle here of the semester, which would be around here, Module 4, at the end of Module 4, and then you don't submit the last one, or you submit it incorrectly. If you submit this one incorrectly, it will not be a valid submission, right? So that's another thing to really be careful about. And what could be incorrect here? Your commentary being outside that 250 to 1,000 words. More concerning would be less than 250. And there was a case in the past where someone submitted a commentary with fewer than 250 words, and I believe I pointed that out in a video. So what is incorrect? A commentary with less than 250 words and more than 1,000 words, and the attachments not being a .png file and a .prj file. Now, at the end of this week, I'll have a teaching assistant, someone other than me, check all the files and do things like checking whether two project files are identical, for example. And I told you there are identifiers because it's possible, right? And an audit of my course would do that, and I can be asked whether I check whether there are any two project files that are identical, because if they are identical, then that's plagiarism, and I have to give an F to the student and recommend student for actually expulsion from the program. That's what I'm required to do. I don't want to do that. Now the PNG files, you can tell more or less by the figures, right? So this one, see, this shape is different from this one, so they are different files. So you see the two ovals here are closer to each other, so you can almost tell if there is an identical screenshot by looking at them. You see the inclination here is different from the inclination on this one. So this tells me that if people are posting slightly different screenshots, that probably means that their project files are different. So I feel that this class is doing very well. And as I just noted to you, a late submission can be a late submission correcting a previous submission that was incorrect. I'm sorry, a resubmission, right? Replying to your own submission, like Ms. Espino did, Teresa Espino, can be done on time, and that counts as a correct submission being made on time. Okay, looking at the grades. So grades conversion table. So we have 90 and above, that's an A. 80 from 80 to 90 B, from 70 to 80 C. So you risk getting a C if you do certain things, but so far there was only one person that I felt could get a C, and I contacted that person. I cannot say who that person was, but I contacted that person directly, and the person responded. We had some exchanges of emails. So if you have not been contacted by me, you have already in this course very likely an A or a B. And the majority of the class are getting A's so far because they submitted all the assignments as required. But let's look here at this Excel spreadsheet. So we have total assignments 6. So how much each assignment is worth is submitted on time, 16%. So right there you can see if you don't submit one assignment, or if you submit the assignment wrong, then you're a B already. Now, how much each assignment is worth if submitted late? I'm willing to give half of the grade. So if you submitted one late assignment, you're still potentially at an A, because this is higher than 90%, right? So you're losing only 8.33% of the grade. But two late ones, you already have a B. So now, let's say at the end of the course, you get a grade, and I made a mistake, and I gave you, say, let me go back to that grades table. So let's say I give you a B or a C, and or God forbid a D or an F. Those two are the same, because D is not a passing grade at the graduate level. At the undergraduate level, these get degrees, but not at the graduate level. You cannot have less than a C and still graduate. So, but let's say you get a C and you think you deserve a B. Don't panic. Just contact me or the instructor as soon as you see the grade. And I can always submit a change of grade for you. There is a change of grade form, and it's something that can be done, and I can even do that later. Now, if you're graduating soon, that can be a problem, right? So if you need to do some extra work to go from again, 1 C, you graduate, right? 2 C's, you're close to having problems. So you may have to retake one of those C's depending on your other grades, because you cannot graduate in good standing with lower than 3.0 GPA at the master's level. So, but if you get a grade from me or from any other professor, don't panic. Contact the professor and then explain why you think you got the grade wrong, and also explain why the professor may have given you a lower grade. That is helpful, because a professor is really the ultimate decider when it comes to grades. It's very difficult for anyone to change a grade given by a professor if that professor does not want to change the grade. Sometimes students think that they can, talk to the chair of the division, that would be me, or the dean, or the provost, or the president of the university, and get them to force a faculty member to change a grade. That's not the case. In fact, that action could lead to severe negative consequences for the university, because the university could lose accreditation, and that could even lead the university to having to close its doors or be put on probation. So there would be serious consequences for that. So don't panic. Just talk to the professor. Use psychology, right? If you're aggressive toward a professor, chances are that that's not going to help with the professor potentially changing your grade. And again, professors are supposed to do that based on mistakes, right? And as I explained before, since we are doing the grading here in this course based on assignments, and it is very clear what you need to do to get the full grade for each assignment, It is arguably very easy for you to get an A in this course. It just takes work, right? Because the assignments you cannot go to Google Gemini or Chat GPT and say, do this analysis, generate the PDF file, generate the PNG file, and write a commentary for me. Neither of these AI tools will do that. So there is work you have to do here. At most, you can use AI tools for the commentary. So it's not, it requires your time, but that's value. That's where you get value from this course. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for watching, and I will be posting a new video later in the week. Till then, goodbye. Have a good day.